Hi, everyone. Welcome to our next installment of our Florida Springs Council Ask Me Anything series. I'm Florida Springs Council Executive Director Ryan Smart. Today, I'm once again joined by Florida Springs Institute Zoey Hendrickson. Friendly Fig asks, we know that some sunscreen products are not safe for coral reefs. How does sunscreen impact aquatic vegetation in our springs and spring runs? Zoey, what can you tell us about the impacts of sunscreen on our springs?
So unfortunately, there isn't, as far as I can find, now that's not the be all end all, but as far as I can find, there's not a huge amount of research that has been done about sunscreen in freshwater systems. That being said, there has been more research concerning coral reefs and the effects of sunscreen on those. But what we can infer from it, and I'm gonna share my screen in a moment, what we can infer from it is basically the effects that they have on coral reefs and marine life are going to be kind of similar to the effects that they have on freshwater systems. And let me go ahead and share my screen. Sunscreens contain UV filters. They're chemicals that will filter out the UV rays that are harmful to our skin. The main bad guy chemical that we've identified is oxybenzone. That's been the major one in coral reef research. But basically what it does is it'll get into these aquatic systems, and the algae that provides the photosynthesis for the coral reef, or basically their food source, will interact with this chemical and then be unable to photosynthesize. So seeing as aquatic vegetation also photosynthesizes, we can kind of make some assumptions there, not super sound assumptions, but it's not a good thing to have in the water for those organisms as well. We also get into the issue of bioaccumulation, which is organisms uptaking these chemicals and incorporating them into their tissues. So that can be a problem in plants as well. It'll remove it from the water, but then it exists in the plant. And we have seen this in fish as well. So there's been studies on marine fish as well as freshwater fish, where they're seeing these chemicals kind of build up in their tissues because they are fat soluble. Basically, the processes that are happening in the ocean with these chemicals are going to be similar to what's happening in the freshwater. And so when you have a ton of it dumped into the freshwater, it'll wreak havoc those systems, but eventually all that freshwater ends up in the ocean anyway. So
Thanks a lot, Zoey. That's great. This issue is very timely because the Florida legislature actually passed a bill last month that preempts local governments from passing local regulations to address sunscreen. Key West had passed one to try to protect coral reefs, and the legislature basically said local governments cannot regulate sunscreen to protect water quality, really taking that tool off the table. So from a non-regulatory approach, when folks want to get back out into our springs, what should they be doing? Any thoughts? I mean, is there a certain type of sunscreen they can wear, another solution to the problem?
The best thing you can do is try and not use a ton of sunscreen. So wearing longer leggings or a swim shirt, anything that can kind of protect your skin. Because a lot of the time, the fabric of those materials, those clothing items, they're meant to protect you from the sun. So that kind of helps that chemical leaching to not happen. There are alternative sunscreens you can use that don't contain oxybenzone. So they have things like zinc or other minerals that are not as harmful to the environment, definitely not as harmful to coral reefs, and probably not as harmful to fish.
Thank you so much, Zoey. I hope you can join us again. Thanks for watching. If you have a question like us to cover, please go to the Florida Springs Council Facebook page. You can submit it there. While you're there, like our page, share a post, sign up for our free email services, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.